Jupiter Night is brought to you by FreshBooks.com. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Jupiter at Night. My name is Chris.
My name is Jeremy.
Yo there, J-Man.
Yo there, C-Man?
Yeah, that works.
No, it doesn't.
No. Tonight's episode is all about the big news that I'm sure everyone is... Well, actually, people are talking quite a bit
Google
about
I.O.
No, J-Man.
Oh.
Actually, we will cover a little bit of Google I.O. at the end of the episode, but we're going to devote tomorrow's episode to Google I.O. because not only did a bunch of stuff come out today that we're trying to chew through, but then more stuff comes out tomorrow because Google I.O. is not over yet.
Sure.
But the other big thing that happened today was Microsoft bought Skype.
Yes, they did.
Well, now this affects us directly because we're big Skype users.
It could potentially affect us directly.
I bet it will.
I think at this point, a lot of it is just supposition. We're guessing at a lot of things. But
you know what? We've got a whole section in the show dedicated to some of the guesses people have out there, plus our own. But first, you want to talk about some of the details of this amazing acquisition? I mean, $8.5 billion. I think we got to start there. What do you think?
Okay, first of all, I was starting to hear rumors, I think it was last week, that both Google and Facebook were interested in acquiring Skype.
And then last night, it was starting to float around, late last night, it was starting to float around that maybe Microsoft was considering a $7 billion. And it's funny because the pundits were already jumping on that $7 billion figure saying, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
But if Google and or Facebook were actually interested in it, which at this point it kind of seems that at least one of them was, then it makes sense to bid that much. If not only to acquire it for yourself, to stop them from acquiring
keep it away, especially like Facebook and Google. I mean, those are two people that could really, really augment their current service offerings with Skype. The interesting thing...
Actually, kind of on the sidebar there, I would have actually been interested in Facebook acquiring it.
Really?
Their current chat system is kind of ass.
Yeah. It doesn't...
And I don't think Facebook's going away anytime in the immediate future, so why not improve it? So, yeah.
Yeah, I know, I'm with you. Yeah. I'm with you. And I think that a lot of people look at this and go, why does Microsoft want this? Because Microsoft... Did you know that the MSN Messenger network has like more users, active users than Skype?
Isn't that because it auto-installs and makes you log in when you run Windows?
I wonder if that is not the case, to be honest with you. But it is an interesting thing. Here's another interesting little tidbit, and I don't really know because I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a tax guy, I don't know what the ramifications are of this, but the Wall Street Journal actually points this out over in their article, and we have a link to that in the show notes. And what's interesting, it says here, of Microsoft's nearly $50.2 billion in basically assets, liquid investments, things like that. So meaning... they could turn around $50.2 billion rather quickly if they needed to.
That means potentially they could spend that much to acquire something.
Potentially.
At the drop of a hat.
If they wanted to, yeah.
Wow.
But here's what's interesting, dude, and maybe why they can't necessarily buy anything. $42 billion of that $50 billion is not inside the U.S., meaning that if they bring that money into the U.S., they have to...
No wonder our economy's suffering. God damn it.
Microsoft,
bring it home.
Well, that's the whole thing, dude. If they bring it home, they have to pay taxes on that.
Oh, are they not paying taxes on this acquisition?
Skype's in Luxembourg.
They are. I knew that.
So they're not having to pay U.S. taxes on it. So it's a way to spend part of this $40 billion without having to pay the U.S. taxes on it. So that's another interesting angle of this whole purchase thing, is you wonder if you're going to see Microsoft buy up a few other technology companies outside the U.S., because $40 billion is a lot of money to bring in and get taxed on.
Yes, it is.
So you got to figure maybe they're like, well, like when it's a tax-free holiday or you order something online, like when I order from Newegg, sometimes I buy something a little nicer because I know I don't have to pay the sales tax. You wonder if like Ballmer was sitting back in his office going, well, I wouldn't normally shell out $8.5 billion for Skype, but it's tax-free.
They're in Luxembourg. Yeah. Let's do it.
That's pretty interesting. The other thing that the Wall Street Journal points out is this could play really, really well into Microsoft's existing ad network. You know they have an AdSense competitor?
No.
Yeah, they do the whole text ads. It all works with Bing, and it's integrated in with Windows Phone.
What's Bing?
Yeah, I know, right? Soon probably to have Skype calls, I would bet. I mean, just put that S everywhere, right? You're going to get it in the Xbox 360. They've said
Well, yeah, they've already confirmed it's coming to many different platforms. Yeah. They're going to integrate it into Outlook. They're going to put it on the Windows 7 phones. It's going to go everywhere.
Wow, so that could be kind of neat, especially on the Windows 7 phone area, because you think that is sort of an area that Google and Apple are aggressively going after. Google with Google Talk, which just introduced video for no phones really yet, but for a few. And then Apple with FaceTime, which is in there in the iPod Touch, the iPad, and the iPhone. Yep. And the Windows Phone 7's offering really has been pretty weak. So
I haven't heard anything about it, so I didn't even know they had an offering.
Well, I don't know. I mean, what are you going to... There's apps and things like that, but there's not like an integrated solution.
Okay.
This is it.
Well, now that they own the Skype program, makes sense that they would put that in as their big FaceTime competitor.
And it gives them a potential to have a kind of a decent offering for no service for people that don't have cell service.
Oh.
Yeah, right? I mean, you got to have Wi-Fi, but you could just Skype call, and you could use the same Skype account you use everywhere.
Well, now technically you can do that on like an iPhone and stuff already, but
it's not like built in,
It's not built into the core.
You got to have Skype running to get a call. So what if the way they built it was that you could call your Skype account and you didn't have to have the Skype application running, and it would start ringing on your Windows Phone 7.
That sounds like something Verizon would hate the hell out of.
Well, yeah, right? I would. Yeah.
And Sprint and everybody else.
Yeah.
They're going to come.
Yeah, unless you're making those calls over their 3G network, right? Then they might like that because then they're getting the money for it.
If you don't have to pay that exorbitant monthly fee for their services, and you can just go Wi-Fi and all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, and then like when you're at home, that would mean all your calls at home are free. So that could be really neat. So that's one thing. So you got the ads. That's something I think you're going to see in Skype more because Microsoft got an ad system.
Yep.
You got Windows Phone 7. You got the Xbox 360. I've got a few ideas on how the whole Xbox 360 and Kinect thing could play together with Skype.
I can see it.
But before we talk about that, I want to give a quick holler to our friends over at FreshBooks.com.
These guys again?
I know. These crazy guys, we fooled them to coming back again, and we thank them for it. Now, if you guys do any kind of invoicing, like if you're maybe an IT professional like myself, but any kind of invoice you need to do where we got to send somebody a bill, go check out FreshBooks.com, especially because if you have 3 clients or less, it's a free account.
And you can't lose anything by going free.
You're not going to have an issue with that free account.
Oh, you know what? And I actually want to mention, I signed up for a free one so that I could try to win the cake. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard good things.
And I'm not getting spammed at all. I was kind of worried about that by signing up for a free service. If I was going to get a bunch of emails on a regular basis trying to talk me into upgrading or anything. Right. No, they're really low key about it.
I like also have the free account and not a single problem.
Yeah.
And just a quick mention, when you're signing up, you can sign up for that free account, and they'll ask you, how did you hear about us? Put in NITE, N-I-T-E, and boom, entered in for the free cake, right? I like that. But check this out, J-Man. FreshBooks.com is free, easy online invoicing for 3 clients or less. Simple, straightforward pricing structure if you have more than 3 clients. It lets you do your time tracking right in here. So if you bill based on how much time you spent, you don't have to use separate software or a spreadsheet to keep track of that. You enter it right into here. It goes right onto the invoice. It reduces errors. The other thing is you can bill people electronically. You can send them an electronic invoice. And if you make it easy for people, you get paid quicker. And in fact, FreshBooks has stats right here on their website. On average, FreshBooks customers get paid 14 days faster.
Also, if they pay electronically using PayPal through the invoice you send them, it automatically marks your invoice paid.
Yeah, for your own internal tracking, it automatically handles all of that for you. You can also combine it with things like Android and iPhone apps, so that way you can bill right when you're on site.
Or use that to keep track of your time as you're on site.
That's what I do. And if your client is one of those old-style people that would rather have a old paper snail mail type delivery, well, FreshBooks has got that covered too. They can mail them an invoice. In fact, check this out, dude. You know what I have right here? Right here? FreshBooks paper invoice.
And the thing says it comes with a return envelope and everything.
Yeah, it's got this here. And wait for it.
We brought props.
Well, kind of. I wasn't really prepared. I got the stuff over there. It's nice, though. It's very professional looking, yeah. It's a very professional. Here, hold that thing up. Very professional looking invoice. I like that. So it makes me look good. Anyways, if you'd like to check it out, go over to FreshBooks.com and tell them you heard about us by putting in NITE and get entered for that free cake. They're going to give away a free cake to a Jupiter Night listener every week this month. So awesome. That's not bad. And thanks to FreshBooks for sponsoring Jupiter Night.
Let's get into talking a little bit about the Kinect, because I want to hear what you have in mind for this.
Well, this is really awesome. First of all, let's just be frank. The Kinect has been the #1 selling consumer electronics device.
Wait. I'm sorry. It's Jupiter. It's not Night.
Oh, it's Jupiter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I asked you before the show.
I know. That's my bad. I accept full responsibility for that derailing of the show.
If you want cake,
type in Jupiter.
Jupiter, not Night. Jupiter, if you want the cake for FreshBooks. Thanks to the chat room for reminding us. You know the chat room's on it because they're serious about cake. That chat room wants that cake. So go over there and use Jupiter and you'll be set. All right. So Kinect, #1 selling electronics device ever. I mean, that's an astonishing fact right there. The fact that's just something you can just throw out there on the table. You combine that, and what's that mean? It means a camera, and it also is very likely to mean a built-in internet connection, or I mean an existing internet connection.
Yeah.
So you got to connect in your living room with a camera. You've got an Xbox 360, and you've got an internet connection, and then all they have to do is just drop a simple software, well, not simple, but a software update on the 360, and now you have just turned everybody's living room into a video conferencing machine. Where that falls flat a lot of times is then everybody else has to be using that same system. But if you
that's how it is with FaceTime.
Sure, that's the problem.
People
with FaceTime.
on both ends have to be on FaceTime.
And so when's the last time you and I FaceTimed?
Never.
Exactly. But we've Skyped before.
Yes, we have.
And now you might Skype me, and I might just be chillaxing in my couch answering the call, because why wouldn't I just Skype from my effing TV?
Right.
And if you combine that with Windows Phone 7, I could be out on the road, and I could want to check in with the family, and I could Skype video call in to my Connect system at home, and Ange and the kids could be in the living room, and I could see the whole family, and we could chat over Skype.
Yeah.
That is going to be slick. And then let's get in now. You can tell I'm excited about this possibility. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay, J-Man.
Lay it on me.
Get in your DeLorean.
Okay.
And get that sucker up to 88 miles per hour, because we're going to the future.
All right.
Imagine it. It's like 2015, and everything's
it's only 4 years away.
But dude, come on. That's what's so great
Where's
about
my hoverboard?
Yeah, okay, you got your hoverboard. You're in 2015. Here's what you got. You got your Xbox 480 or 720, whatever it is. You got your Connect version 3 or whatever it is. You got your Skype HD video call, and you probably have gigabit in your home by now. Hopefully,
well, anybody has gigabit by that point.
Google, right? They got gigabit out there to everybody, because that's what they've been talking about. So you got gigabit into your home, and you're sitting there playing a Connect game, and you're all jumping all over the place, right? Doing the Connect thing. But what if you're at home jumping all over the place doing the Connect thing? And you got Skype, and it's, remember, the Xbox 480, and it's Connect 3, and you got a gigabit Ethernet.
So it's got that built-in API, that back-end communication.
It's got Skype built into this machine. You got the gaming software.
You got the cameras on both ends. Motion capture.
Motion capture.
So all of a sudden, I'm in your living room.
Why couldn't you be? And dude, throw that into with some 3D glasses. Now, mind you, these are all technologies I don't own. I don't have an Xbox 360 in my living
720.
room. Or an Xbox 720. I don't have a Connect or a Connect 3, and I don't have a Windows 7 phone. But let's just, all that stuff aside. So you're at home, and I'm at home, and you could be like, it wouldn't even have to be you, right? It could be the bits of you. It could be like your avatar.
Yeah, it could animate the avatar on the other end.
You could just do like the motion tracking bits.
Right.
It doesn't have to be the full you.
No.
And I combine that with 3D glasses. I could be like in here, and you could be standing right there. I mean, that could really be...
It's a little creepy, but cool.
I mean, not quite like that, but it could be like, it really could break down some interesting barriers in global gaming.
But it would, again, have to be something that Microsoft is totally on board with and integrates right into their platform.
And that's the issue with Microsoft.
We don't know that that's going to come to fruition.
We don't.
This could very well be Ballmer throwing around dollars to keep it out of somebody else's hands.
And the reality is, for all we know, this could spell really bad news for Skype on Linux.
Yeah.
That's what I'm really worried about.
On Mac, but probably less of a concern there.
Probably less of a concern, but you never know.
Right.
It's those are the positive aspects that I tried to look at. The negative aspects that I can think of are the fact that Microsoft is really not that good at integrating their various different services. I mean, it took them years and years.
Well, I think it might be safe to say that they're a little better at it than Google. Generally,
maybe. What really strikes me is how different islands the Zune and the Xbox 360 were. They both had TV and music and movies, but they were separate markets completely.
Yep.
The devices made by the same company, agreements with those licensing companies made by the same company, theoretically, possibly even the same lawyers, and they weren't connected until like this last update, and now they kill the Zune.
Yeah.
It's this weird thing where Microsoft will build up this entire thing and then never interconnect the two.
And it's even more likely to happen when they're actually acquiring something from elsewhere rather than developing it themselves.
Yeah. I mean, building into Outlook, that's cool. That just kind of seems like the obvious place to go. Building into Windows Phone 7, cool. Not many people are probably really rocking Windows Phone 7.
For them to be talking more about MSN Messenger and building that up.
Well, where does this leave MSN Messenger?
Hopefully out the window. That thing's crap.
Tell that to the more people that use it than Skype, J-Man.
Well, whatever.
I agree with you, though. It's garbage. But we'll see. We'll see where they take it. I'm a little pessimistic, to be honest. I really am. I know I've talked a lot about the positive stuff. I wanted to get them out there because I think a lot of the audience is probably also feeling as equally pessimistic. So I wanted to flash a few shiny possibilities out there. I don't know. Can you think of any other negative scenarios?
I mean, just if they overblow the ads. I mean, think about this. If they're trying to play up their new ad service... If Skype is primarily audio, even though we talk a lot about the video, I think most people use it for audio calling still these days.
Yeah, probably, huh?
What if they start inserting audio ads? I mean, wouldn't that be terrible?
Oh my god!
Everybody would stop using Skype, to be honest.
Oh yeah, like the payphone kind of thing when you run out of money, that kind of thing would be like,
or like when you're on the phone with somebody in prison, and every once in a while it comes over and says,
"I don't know, Jim. I really don't talk to a lot of people in prison." I guess.
You don't? It's just me.
Yeah. Hey, you want to talk a little about I/O before we wrap up?
Yeah.
All right, let's switch gears from the Skype announcement to the other big news today, and that is Google I/O. And we're going to share the big stuff for you tomorrow. But it's still all going down. And in fact, the guys over at This Is My Next are doing a pretty good job of the coverage, I thought, especially for being new.
I've got links in our chat room to that one and to Engadgets and Gizmodos, and I think This Is My Next is the best of the group.
You know who This Is My Next is by, right? Is the two former head editors of Engadget, Joshua Topolsky and Lee. I forget the other guy's name.
I didn't know. I didn't know until I found this coverage.
Yeah, so these are the guys that left Engadget, and they're over here on This Is My Next. In fact, this is their first live blog they've ever done for this new site.
Well, they're doing it right.
They are doing it right, and they used a new service called Scribble Live, which they were a little nervous about, but they are happy with the way it turned out. And overall, I'll just say this takeaway: Google is busting out a ton of stuff. The big things I think are we finally got some resolution on what's going to happen with Android and the whole open source mess.
Okay.
So no current intentions as before to open source Honeycomb. And they talked about another release of Honeycomb called Honeycomb 3.1, which Motorola Zoom users on the Verizon network will be getting soon.
Okay. Isn't Honeycomb itself not out yet, though?
It's out for certain, like the Motorola Zoom.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then the other thing they did is they gave away Galaxy tabs, the new I have this tab 7.
Yeah, they always have great swag at these things.
Way nice swag. They gave away nice swag, so that's cool. And then the other thing they talked a little bit about was ice cream sandwich, which sounds delicious.
Was that part of the swag?
I wonder if there's a shot in here of ice cream sandwich.
They were giving away ice cream sandwiches?
No, but they will be, I'm sure, because the ice cream sandwich is going to be the version of Android that brings Honeycomb and brings the gingerbread together, and that's going to be open source, or might even be. I think I might have saw, and of course we're still in the research phase.
Well, I'm excited because it sounds delicious.
We might eventually see, Honeycomb ice cream sandwich, Froyo. It's nuts. They also announced they hit 200,000 apps in the Android marketplace, which is really cool.
Isn't that still only like 1/100th of what's available on iPhone?
I don't know. Actually, I think they're getting pretty close. Wow. 4.5 billion applications installs, though, is really nuts. That might be more than Apple.
Has there been any really big announcements that you want to lay on people tonight, or should we save all that for tomorrow's show when we do the whole review?
You mean other than resizable widgets coming in a Honeycomb 3.1?
Yeah, other than that.
And possible Xbox 360 controller coming in the new
failed at the
It did fail. Why don't we leave it on that? Because the rest of the stuff we'll tease for tomorrow's episode. Okay. But the one thing they did work on, which is kind of interesting, is Xbox 360 controller coming to Honeycomb tablets. It didn't work in their demo, unfortunately, but the concept could be neat, right? I mean, because, come on, J-Man, be honest with me. Do you hate this?
I hate this. No, I hate that
you found the logo. There it is. Can you zoom that sucker in a little bit?
I can attempt.
Yeah, that's kind of neat, right? It's kind of a nice, clean looking.
That's adorable.
Yeah, it's an ice cream sandwich that's an Android if you're listening to the audio version. But I don't know. I don't like. Have you played on the iPad where you do this with the iPad?
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it a lot, and it feels imprecise. And
controllers could be badass.
It could be, but if you've got a controller and with a mobile, why aren't you just playing better games on your console?
Yeah, good point.
Or PC or whatever you've got.
Yep.
So
I like that. One last tidbit, which I'm just really happy about, is Android is going to get the ability to act as a USB hub, and what that means is you can actually plug other USB devices into it, like a camera.
Yeah.
And download the photos on your camera right to your tablet, which just totally makes sense. That's
absolutely
basic functionality.
We need that in all mobiles.
Yep. So cool stuff. And this is your chance to let us know what you thought was awesome. And there's a couple of ways you can do that. Of course, leave us a comment, but we want your Google I.O. thoughts. Comment where you're watching this. Email us in at night@jupiterbroadcasting.com.
If you want to Twitter either of us, you can probably catch us on that too. I'm JB Jeremy.
Yeah, and I'm Chris LAS. Good thinking. That's a good way to do it. And, give us your thoughts on Google I.O. We're covering it tomorrow. What would you like us to focus on? We're definitely in the research phase right now, so it's a good time to get that in. And be sure to join us live over at jblive.tv at 8 p.m. Pacific tomorrow night, and we will be digging all into the Google I.O. announcements. So
all over it.
Check it out then. And you know what? Thanks to FreshBooks for sponsoring this episode. Don't forget to use the code JUPITER when you're telling them how you heard about us.
Cake!
When they say, how'd you hear about FreshBooks? It's Jupiter.
It's Jupiter.
And then
it's not night. I'm wrong.
If you get that cake, you got to send us the cake. You got to send us pictures of that cake.
Yeah, not the cake. That. You can keep the cake. Send us pictures, though.
Well, yeah. I guess actually getting the cake would be better.
Piece of the cake?
But I don't think it would survive that. When they ship the cake, they have this awesome box with this awesome dry ice
all over it.
So that's how they ship a cake. I don't know how those guys would ship a cake. So pictures will be fine
in a paper bag. Yeah. Duct tape
with a little sticky note. By the way, it was great. Maybe you can still smell some of that, and when you can see us here on the show, we'll be like, and huffing out of the cake bag. Yeah. All right, everyone.
bag.
Well, thanks so much for tuning in to tonight's episode of Jupiter at Night, and we'll see you tomorrow night.